Welcome to ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. A mammoth game in the league tonight. Michigan trying to win itself the Big Ten with a couple of games remaining. Minnesota here at the barn, which they take very literally, trying to cement its spot in the NCAA tournament, and that would have been more solidified had this not happened. January 22nd, nearly a month ago, Iggy Brosdakis with a shot blocked by Eric Curry, Charles Matthews to follow, and Michigan got the win 59-57. He's Robbie Hummel, I'm Jason Benetti, and Charles Matthews has been the driver for Michigan recently.
And if they want to make noise in the NCAA tournament, it has to be Charles Matthews as a guy who's playing his best basketball of the season. We saw it in the NCAA tournament last year. You see the numbers over the last three, over 18 points a night, shooting 63% from the field. He has been outstanding, has gotten it done. The mid-range has come back, getting it done from 2 and also 3. For Minnesota, Jordan Murphy, 18 double-doubles this season, 63 for his career. He should be a first-team All-Big Ten selection. And honestly, Jason, he has normalized getting double-doubles. You get a double-double with points and rebounds in a Big Ten game. You went out and did grown man's work. He's made it normal. That's why he deserves to be a first-team All-League guy this season.
11-8 every year of his Minnesota career. You see the Gophers at 7-8 in conference. They are currently in the field, according to Joe Lunardi. Purdue has the easiest schedule of the Final Five in Big Ten play. So, Michigan State a half game up after a win against Rutgers yesterday. Michigan has 5 remaining. One of them tonight at the barn. John Teske knocks it back. Charles Matthews in control. And Michigan has the first possession here at Williams Arena in the 161st meeting between the Wolverines and the Golden Gophers. Here is Xavier Simpson, who's been steering this offense for the last 106 games consecutively for Michigan he's played. He drops it down for Teske, who's got the first bucket.
Minnesota trying to rotate over. Michigan understanding that mismatch down there, getting the ball to John Teske. It's a nice job sealing, getting to that jump hook.
One of 3 remaining games on the road for Michigan. Minnesota has just one more home game after tonight, a key, possible marquee win as Daniel Oturu goes over Teske, the freshman, ties the game.
That's that high-low look that we have seen Richard Pitino go to, but I love Daniel Oturu's aggressiveness, go right at John Teske and right over the top of him.
Who does a high-low remind you of?
Honestly, it's Kansas, and I heard Dan Dockett say it with you the other night during the Indiana game here, but I played them in the NCAA tournament. They had Jeff Withey, they had Thomas Robinson. They would high-low you to death. They would use that size. Minnesota's kind of gone to it now.
Dupree McBrayer, the senior for Minnesota, who shot it better recently. And here is the first touch for Jordan Murphy, who follows his shot so deftly to score.
He is so good off the second jump, and that's a matchup to watch. Jordan Murphy going against Iggy Brosdakis. Brosdakis more of a perimeter player. Who wins that matchup, and can Jordan Murphy flip it on Michigan?
Early start tonight, crowd still filtering in as Simpson was denied at the rim. The offensive board resets with 6 to shoot for Michigan. Teske is so physical down there. He and the big guys for Minnesota have all 8.
Well, it's going to be a grown man game tonight in the paint. I thought Gabe Kalscheur did a pretty good job going straight up, holding his ground. But Teske able to go right through the guard and get that thing in the basket.
Matthews the help. Amir Coffey too strong on the 3.
Minnesota, a team that does not shoot many three-point field goals, and we saw against Indiana maybe had some fortunate bounces early to build that confidence. Would have been a big shot for Amir Coffey, a guy that cannot settle tonight, has to be aggressive and get to the basket.
That's usually his game, but sometimes he will find himself as a three-point shooter as Matthews has his first bucket. The senior for Michigan, who had 7 and 6 in the first meeting, that Wolverines win. Coffey with Poole together. Michigan one of the best defensive teams in the country, third in points per game. There's a spin for Murphy that was in the scouting report, and the second chance is in it as well.
His effort, Jason, is second to none. And you can see Minnesota making a concerted effort to drive Jon Teske. We've seen Oturu do it, and now you see Jordan Murphy going right at the big fella.
We saw it in shoot-around this morning. Michigan worked on that spin move and knows it's going to happen, and that's how tough Murphy can be. Teske took 7 threes in the game against Maryland on Saturday. He was 1 for 7, and that's his first miss today.
It's 3 of his last 17. It's been a struggle. Honestly, a guy that shot it a lot better from 3 at home opposed to on the road.
Double came, didn't matter. Oturu had a chance to tap it in, and Michigan in transition, which John Beilein told us earlier has been much better, the transition game for the Wolverines. 12 points total, all of them in the paint so far. Teske against Oturu. Out to Poole, who cans a 3. Jordan Poole, a 38% three-point shooter who has 1 for his last 11 from 3.
And Gabe Kalster just a little too aggressive there, trying to dig into that post. Jon Teske, I know they're trying to protect Daniel Oturu from foul trouble, which has been an issue. But Jordan Poole, I know, like you said, Jason, not shooting it great over the last couple games, but he is more than capable. Give him a good look. More likely than not, he's going to knock that down.
Especially when he's open, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't give him that type of space. He's way too good a shooter to have that.
This will be Michigan ball out of the timeout. You said first team all Big Ten guy Jordan Murphy has 4 of the 6 for Minnesota.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new Made to Crave menu, available at participating restaurants now. And Drive Time. Shop over 15,000 vehicles. It's the genius way to buy a car.
Slowly making friends by throwing food at them. UFC Fight Night 145 happens Saturday. Thiago Santos against Jan Blachowicz in our main event from O2 Arena in Prague in the Czech Republic. 2 Eastern on ESPN Plus, English and Spanish. Early prelims on ESPN2 and ESPN Deportes starting at 11 Eastern. Free trial today, downloading the ESPN app. John Beilein recently ejected from a game for the first time in 40 years. 271 wins at Michigan. He has absolutely been a tough out everywhere he's been.
Well, in his career here at Michigan, just the evolution that he's undergone. And when I was playing, you were so worried about them offensively. They ran such good stuff, and not that they still do. But now it's made them into a defensive juggernaut here and an elite defensive unit capable of shutting down anybody in the country.
Iggy Brazdeikis gives Michigan its largest lead. That is in part because of Luke Yaklich, who John Beilein went out to find. A story that you all may have heard already, but Yaklich was a mid-major coach. John Beilein looked at the numbers and wanted to find a guy who could really help out his defense, and he did. Eric Curry outside of his range, and John Beilein's team now suddenly is 3rd in Division I in scoring defense.
And again, when I was playing, it was 1-3-1. It was a matchup zone. You were not worried about scoring against Michigan. You were worried about stopping them. Now, really more so, both of them actually.
Yeah, at West Virginia, he had the point guard running the baseline, trying to confuse you. He did very well for himself with that here in the Big Ten as well as in the Big East. And as good of a teacher as you're going to see as well. Very technical shoot-around.
But he's also willing to give freedom. You know, you've got a point guard like Xavier Simpson who can play pick and roll as well as almost anybody in the country, and he allows him to make plays for your team. You know, why have a complicated system if you got a guy that can run the show like that?
Jon Teske's playing like Kevin Pittsnoggle right now.
Yes, he is.
Murphy wanted it, got it, and was denied by Teske. Murphy is called for a foul. Richard Pitino told us earlier he doesn't think Jordan Murphy might get voted first team All Big Ten, but he definitely believes he should be.
I agree. I mean, I don't know about that he doesn't have a chance of getting a first team all league selection. I think he's got a great chance. His numbers speak for themselves. He's second all time in the Big Ten Conference in rebounding. Had an incredible career and just a model of consistency.
Brozdakis feeling it. That one was online. Coffey the response for Minnesota, a team that sometimes really struggles to shoot.
Look at where their offense is right now. It is all on the perimeter. Have to make this a big fella game. Has to be a grown man type of night for Minnesota.
Coffey went right into Teskey, and it's out of bounds to Michigan. Big Ten rims are leading the country in blocks the last couple nights.
Well, Amir Coffey trying to go upstairs on John Teskey. Teskey doing a nice job of going straight up, contesting that shot. That's great defense. I like Coffey's mindset, though. Got to go right through him. Got to go right at the shot blocker. Right there, Teskey proven to be too much.
Amir Coffey joins the Carson Edwards dunk brigade. Poole in a hurry. Boy, did he find a lane.
What a start for Michigan's offense. They are in a complete rhythm. They've made jump shots. Now Jordan Poole gets his first shot to go and then gets to the basket. Terrific move and really good burst.
No continuation. This is a foul on the floor. Hey, NBA Friday doubleheader, 7 Eastern. DeMar DeRozan in his first game back in Toronto against Kawhi and the Raptors. Then we go out to Oklahoma City, the Jazz and the Thunder. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. On that last play, by the way, we were talking to Bo Borowski before this game about continuation, and he detailed that it's about the vertical movement of the shooter and the hands in order to call something continuation. It's not about horizontal. It's you have to be going vertical, as this will be Minnesota ball on the tie-up. So watch as Kalsher finds his way into the lane, and if the foul happens before the hands and arms go vertical, it is on the floor. You agree with that call?
I mean, it's the right call by the rule. I wish that they would institute continuation because I think it's fun to watch and it's good for the game.
Colin Castleton has checked in for Michigan. Freshman whose last points came on December the 22nd. Simpson finds himself open and drills it, leading to a timeout, Minnesota. It's an 11-0 run for the Wolverines. Michigan looking all of 23-3 right now at the barn. $11-0 run as we see how Ethan Happ is putting in a lead effort to win college basketball's highest individual honor in our Wendy's Wooden Watch.
I try to affect the game in a lot of different areas. I try and rebound the ball really well, defend really well, distribute to my teammates, and then, of course, score the ball. I think being a versatile big, being able to handle the ball the way I do helps a lot in doing those things. And everything I try and do is to help make my teammates better and win.
Ethan Happ, who you'd imagine would be first team All Big Ten.
Yeah, he's a lock. I think there's 3 locks. I think Cassius Winston, I think Carson Edwards, I think Ethan Happ, and then I would give the 4th spot to Jordan Murphy, and I think Bruno Fernando would probably make a good fit. Now, there's other guys. If Michigan wins the league, I'm not sure how you keep one of these 3 guys, whether that's Xavier Simpson, Jordan Poole, Charles Mathis, Iggy Brozdakis, one of the 4 you think has to be on that list, but it's tough making that first team. There's so many good players in the league, so many good teams this year.
As deep of a Big Ten as we've seen since it's expanded, as Oturu and Murphy have done the scoring for Minnesota so far. That breaks the 11-0 spurt for Michigan. Matthews, no. Oturu the rebound.
I thought Charles Matthews maybe got knocked on that shooting elbow right there, going up with it. Life on the road as a shooter.
That wouldn't be by experience, would it? McBrayer going to the free throw line on the foul against Castleton. So John Beilein going deep into the bench. Austin Davis hasn't played in 4 straight games. Castleton gets in for some early minutes. Colin Castleton, freshman out of Daytona Beach, coming out for Teske now. John Beilein has a penchant for finding guys late in the season who add to his rotation.
And we're going to see who that can be. Obviously, Jordan Poole needs to shoot the basketball better. Charles Matthews needs to keep playing at the level he has over the last 3. I think Isaiah Livers can be that guy. A guy that his growth has probably been a little stunted because Iggy Brasdeikis bursts on the scene, takes that starting 4 spot. But man, a lot of talent, really efficient shooter, probably needs to be more aggressive for Michigan.
Nicely done by Kalsher on the defense, but Oturu's hurt off the steal, and Michigan into the scramble gets a look for Livers to a Coffey rebound. And there is the stoppage with Oturu hurt. Crowd booing heartily as Oturu is going to have to come out.
We see him snag this rebound. Xavier Simpson just coming in and taking the basketball right from him. Looks like he gets a lot of ball. Sometimes the force that contact can bring can kind of jar your shoulder or elbow, and hopefully he's okay. He's such a big part of what Richard Pitino is doing offensively and defensively.
Remember what Richard Pitino and Ed Conroy, his assistant, said to us, that Michigan is so good at smacking down on the basketball.
That was exactly that right there.
Kalsher was so hot from 3 against Indiana Saturday as he misses halfway through the first half.
The amount of threes they made against Indiana, it's almost like you want to say, man, can we save a few of these? Michigan coming into town, and today 0 of 3 here in this first half. This Michigan defense is really sagging. You see that high-low action that Minnesota has become accustomed to running. John Teske really sagging off, daring some of these bigs to shoot. But they need Kalsher, they need Coffey, even McBrayer. Some of these guards have to make shots from the perimeter and spread out that defense.
So as Minnesota brings the ball up the court, what should we be watching in terms of Teske playing that high-low differently than some others in the Big Ten?
Well, he's going to close out and he's going to back off. He's going to dare Jordan Murphy, Daniel Oturu, Eric Curry to shoot the basketball. Minnesota, all 4 of their makes here tonight have been from the paint.
Teske back there with Murphy as Coffey gets a look.
It's an open shot. It's a good shot. And it's one that Richard Pitino is going to tell him to shoot. But again, you just got to make them.
Jordan Poole, who you can pick out in a crowd because of his salmon shoes. Unless he's next to Teske, of course. Poole sticks the 3.
He has that look, doesn't he? He is such a confident kid. Does not matter that he's 3 of 17 over the last 3 games coming in. Shooting it from downtown today. He's had that look, and he has been hot to start this one.
John Beilein feels like his shot selection has been better and better recently. Curry wants a shot and finds it.
And if they're going to have Iggy Brasdeikis guard him, you got to flip the matchup. Nice move, good patience. Eric Curry getting to that right jump hook.
Oturu's ready to go, even though he's still gripping that elbow. Looks like Isaiah Washington's going to come in as well, who hasn't scored in a long while. Teske is a very willing shooter.
And he's had stretches where he shot it well. As I said earlier, just 23% from 3 in road games, and he's had some misses here today that have been really off.
Oturu is going to high-five with the right arm, certainly, as he still kind of has that left lingering next to his body. When you got dinged up, I'd ask if you're working down low and you got dinged up, but you never did that. So when you got dinged up,
which time?
How does
I've been hurt like 55 times, so I need some clarity in your question here.
How long does it take you? I'm just going to forget about that. You're going to play that game. Steal for Michigan. Poole to Julius. And a 10-point lead.
But how fundamental. That's a jump stop. That's a bounce pass. That's David Julius running the floor. This has been a clinic for Michigan so far offensively. In transition in the half court has not mattered. Minnesota's defense not impacting them whatsoever right now.
Oturu Teskey walls him off and forces him into the fadeaway.
Big time contest. That is great defense by Jon Teskey, and now they're off to the races. But Minnesota doing a nice job getting back and converging on Iggy Brazdeikis.
Richard Pitino thought for sure Brazdeikis traveled. Oturu, a rim run for two. He was on the move. Teskey was flat-footed.
Well, they cleared out that weak side, and there's no help side defense. Teskey a little bit getting back, or a little late to the play getting back. And Daniel Oturu showing off that ability to put it on the floor, get to the other side of the rim.
Stoll defending Brazdeikis. Teskey had it knocked away, and Murphy on his way for Minnesota.
Great effort. Isaiah Washington crashing in on Teskey and saving that play. Look out.
That's an absolute siege on the rim for Jordan Murphy, who goes to the free throw line at a very high tempo as we step aside. Look out, orange tin.
Well, it is all about your mindset. Jordan Murphy attacking that rim.
Oh.
Minnesota trying to get back in it.
Minnesota trying to hang around as Robbie Hummel takes you inside the play, Rob.
Well, Michigan has been really aggressive over the last two games trying to get out in transition. That's exactly what they're going to do here. Good contest by Jon Teskey. It's off to the races. Check out all four Gopher defenders now getting back, trying to contest Iggy Brazdeikis' drive. They do a good job. Brock Stoll holds his ground, and the Gophers get back. And now all of a sudden you can get back into your half-court offense. We'll see, can they get that high-low look that they've been searching for here in the first half. It's been a struggle in the paint, just 6 of 16 from the perimeter, 0 for 6 from 3.
Ball dangled for a while for Murphy, the senior out of San Antonio, who his first couple years, the motor was high and then low, and then high and then low. He still produced, but now the tempo at which he plays jumps off the tape, doesn't it?
No, it really does. I mean, he's a guy that plays with such a motor. He's got great hands. He's a great second jumper. So much to like about Jordan Murphy and the way he plays the game on a night-to-night basis.
Poole's got a real spring in his step as Teskey misses a two. Doesn't Poole look different tonight?
No, he does. It just looks like his mentality, his mindset. He looks confident, but it's been like that from the get-go. You know, that first three he took, he looked extremely comfortable here on the floor. Now he's playing pick and roll, looking for others, doing a little bit of everything for Michigan right now. This has not been a good possession for Minnesota.
A lot of dribbles.
Isaiah Washington dribbling the arc.
Against Brazdeikis, Washington, no. Murphy fixes a lot of things, but there's a smackdown again.
Xavier Simpson again coming in and just taking it from you. You get a rebound, you better chin it. If you don't, this Michigan team is coming to take the basketball from you.
It's got to be so frustrating. They talked about it at length at shoot-around this morning.
Well, they steal possessions and they steal your possessions right there. That's going to be a great look at the rim for Jordan Murphy, and instead, you're going the other way.
There's Brazdeikis using the body to deny, and a swat away by Coffey, who said it went off of Michigan.
That was great hands. Amir Coffey getting back. Here we go. Here's the look. Honestly, I think that might be a good call. He swipes down, and I'm not sure that ever did hit Jordan Poole's leg.
Xavier Simpson, who stabilizes this offense. Oh, nifty by Poole off the shot fake. What does Minnesota have in transition? Washington is going solo right now.
Well, they got nothing in transition. That's what they got. Jon Teskey getting back. And we're going to see it again. Jordan Poole going to have this basketball stripped by Amir Coffey. Honestly, to me, I think that was the right call. I really don't think that hit Jordan Poole's leg.
I agree with you.
Good. You're my partner. You should.
Somehow agreement got contentious. McBrayer. No.
Look at that board.
Oh, Murphy underneath. A third chance. And again, Michigan rips it away.
Taking the ball from him. You bring it down. Both teams kind of having opportunities slip through the fingers right here. Minnesota's had multiple efforts at the rim where these Michigan guards just taking the basketball from them, and now Amir Coffey again. Second straight possession, he's saved an open look.
Why is it so hard for a big guy not to bring the ball down?
It's just natural. It's a thing where you get tired, you bring that basketball down, you get a little lazy with it.
Oh,
do that.
Teske brings it down.
Yes, he does. Michigan has had the answer tonight. Minnesota makes their run, and just like that, right back at you.
Minnesota's got 8 offensive rebounds and only 6 second chance points in this game so far. Teske playing such strong defense down there for Michigan.
John Teske, he is going to be on the perimeter in the pick and roll. The guard comes off, Charles Matthews. There is no weak side help. Dupree McBrayer kind of hugging out there on Xavier Simpson. Into this free reign right to the rim for the alley-oop dunk.
So that's McBrayer's guy?
You got to at least give a little bit of a chip. You got a guy in Xavier Simpson that while he shot it better over the last 3, he's still a 29% three-point shooter. You got to be in initially before you get out the contested shot.
That was a travel, and if you're a lip reader, which you almost have to be as a sports fan, Richard Pitino said no way. 6 turnovers for Minnesota against the team that turns it over the least in the country, the Michigan Wolverines. Downstairs, Castleton couldn't get the roll.
Did a nice job of head faking, getting Oturu up in the air, but that's one you just got to make.
Oturu off the window, didn't work like it did early Saturday for Minnesota. Wow, bodies everywhere. And it's going to be Minnesota ball. Do you want to get back out there?
No.
Throw some bows?
Do not envy these dudes.
You love playing
Actually,
here.
no, I'd go back out there.
He corrected himself. He said he will.
I changed my mind.
Would you blame the guy, by the way? Would you blame the guy? He blew out his knee on this very floor.
I did.
Robbie did. So, like, he did correct and he manned up, as they say.
Gotta be a grown man to play in this league.
3.5 to go. Wow, we've got a graphic build that you tore your ACL at Minnesota, February 2010.
It's a nice gesture. Thank you, Bart, to our producer. Very, very nice gesture.
If you want to see the exorcism of that demon, you can see it on Robbie's Twitter at Robbie Hummel with a beautiful dunk earlier today here at the barn. It was beautiful, really well done. You could still dunk.
It's a miracle. Yes.
Miracles can happen. 2-2 the last 4.5 minutes as Dallin has taken the under.
It has been a struggle to score on both ends of the floor. Right there. Contested shot for Jordan Poole where he has not excelled. You look at the numbers. Shots that are contested just 30% from the field versus uncontested he shoots 50. When he gets good looks and steps to that line, he is an incredibly effective shooter.
Livers denied Curry. Now there's Curry against Livers. Clean block. Well done.
That's a great look there. Get Eric Curry what should be an easy layup, but Isaiah Livers not giving up on the play. Michigan's effort today has been outstanding.
That's a foul against Michigan and Matthews on the drive.
That's a great look, and there you see it. That's when Eric Curry has got to get to the backboard as fast as possible. That defense converging. There you see Isaiah Livers, a guy that I think still has so much to give. Michigan has a lot of ability. Right there showing it off on the defensive end of the floor.
Sophomore out of Kalamazoo, the former Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan. Minnesota's gone bone dry offensively.
There's that high-low.
Teske was there, but could only watch Oturu score.
I just think the way they guarded that earlier in the game is the way to do it. If your man flashed to the high post and it's Jordan Murphy, Daniel Oturu, you should back up. Make him prove it that he can make that shot. Not saying Jordan Murphy can't, but you're not going to lose to Minnesota on Jordan Murphy three-point field goals.
A rivalry week rolls on Saturday with two more great matchups on ESPN. 6 Eastern, Duke and Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. Then number 12, Kansas against Texas Tech in Lubbock. And you heard the guys mention it briefly in studio. Tragic news earlier today. Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim hit and killed a man, a 51-year-old Jorge Jimenez of Syracuse, with his car late Wednesday night. Jimenez was an occupant of a vehicle that was involved in an earlier accident in central New York. He'd left the vehicle. Police say Boeheim tried to avoid the disabled car when he was passing, and in doing so hit Jimenez, who was on the side of the road. So our thoughts are with the Jimenez family and Jim Boeheim as this all gets sorted out, and a whistle against Minnesota on this Michigan possession. Second foul against Murphy. Michigan with its first free throw of the game. If Murphy gets in massive foul trouble, that's big problems for Minnesota.
Well, even with this 8-9-point lead, waiting on that free throw.
Who knows
even with the 9-point lead, you look at where Minnesota is. Amir Coffey has not made a shot. He's 0 of 9. Oturu's 4 of 8. Everybody else 3 of 23. Offensively, you can play so much better, and you're still hanging around.
Poole, the return feed. And somehow he gets it back and cans a three.
What a sequence. And what a play by Charles Matthews just to go up and give that basketball a chance. Showing off the verticality right there. Going upstairs, and Jordan Poole knocking it home.
Michigan recovers so well defensively.
They really close down space, but they've got length, they've got athletes, they've got size. There's a reason they're in the top 5 in defensive efficiency in all of college basketball. 16 points for Minnesota. They've showed why today.
30 seconds away is all you'll miss us for. Michigan by 12 as they played pinball on the last possession.
Yes, they did. Charles Matthews going upstairs to save this. Not the best lob by Jordan Poole, but to keep that basketball in bounds. Now Isaiah Livers makes the right play, gets it to Poole, who has been hot player today. 11 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 from downtown. A very welcome sight for Michigan fans. That's the thing. The Wolverines are going to make a deep run. Jordan Poole is going to be a big reason that they do.
With the win tonight, Michigan would be tied again with Michigan State at the top of the Big Ten. Purdue would be a half game back after the Boilermakers win in a grinder Tuesday night in Bloomington.
That's a nice way of putting it. It was an ugly basketball game.
Peach Basket City. Matthews walked. You never scored 48 in Purdue, Indiana as a team, did you?
No.
If you could only
but we
have
didn't always
seen
win either.
The look
so
on Robbie's
I would
face.
rather score 48 and win than score 100 and lose, obviously.
What was your favorite game to play in the Big Ten?
The Indiana game is special for Purdue. It's just the atmosphere. You saw it last week. It is such a big-time environment down in Bloomington to go in there. You get a road win in that building, it's a special deal.
McBrayer, clock dwindling. Followed, did it get off? Yes, indeed. The officials say it does count for the moment. Bo Borowski counted the bucket for Oturu underneath.
There you see Daniel Oturu's first attempt. Man, that is close.
When is it released from his fingertips? Yeah,
that looks like it's good. That's a great play. Daniel Oturu sticking with it.
Watch the red light at the top of your screen, and when's the ball released?
That's off. Yeah, that's off his hands. I think by about a frame. Wow.
Watch again. When's
Out.
it?
It was out on the last one.
You think so?
I think it's out of his hand.
2 frames ago.
Yeah, right there. I think there's space on that basketball.
And again, the call on the floor was field goal good.
Yeah, with that being said, I think that makes it to where it's impossible to overturn this if you're Bo Borowski and this crew. Yeah, I think that one confirms it. To me, that's out of his hand.
Certainly looks like it. Yeah, I think you're right. So Oturu with 10 in the half, if it does indeed count. Chris Beaver, Paul Sells, Bo Borowski. Chris Beaver is going to come over and tell Robbie he's going to ask for a look behind the backboard. Telling Chris Beaver that this is the look. Tough to see the fingertips from behind the backboard. That's the look that was requested by the officials. They'll get one more look from us. Second look coming. Tough to see the fingertips and the light together. Bo and Chris will go back to Paul as they try to figure out. I mean, that look is as close as I've seen to thinking that it wasn't released.
Right.
You agree?
No, I do. I agree that in that one it's tough to say, but by the nature of the rule, they're going to count this because there's not enough evidence to turn this thing over.
Well done by the crew. 28-18 at the break. Michigan trying to win the Big Ten. Minnesota trying to solidify its tournament resume. To the studio after the break. Welcome back to ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. Michigan trying to deadlock Michigan State at the top of the Big Ten standings, up by 10 at the break from Williams Arena. Jason Benetti with Robbie of the Valparaiso Hummels. Minnesota struggled to shoot once again in that first half.
Yeah, we saw them make shots against Indiana. 0 of 5 today from 3. All 8 field goals have been scored in the paint. Amir Coffey, 0 of 10. There is no way Minnesota can win this game without Amir Coffey making a big impact in the second half.
Jordan Poole with 11 points. You said it in the first half. He looks different in this game.
No, he does. He looked aggressive. He looked confident. He came out. He's been in a 3 of 17. A little shooting slump from downtown. Not the case today. He's been outstanding.
Michigan defensively has been great. John Teske here.
John Teske, this is clinical. You're going to see him in the play right here. Minnesota going to run this offense. He does so many things right. Initially, he's guarding Jordan Murphy. Now you're going to get this switch. Great communication. Now you're on Eric Curry. Eric Curry swings the basketball. Great hedge. Impact the ball. Amir Coffey pushed to half court. Now you get a high post flash. Eric Curry has the basketball. You help out Iggy Brazdeikis. Now you got an 11% three-point shooter shooting a shot in a game where they have not been able to make perimeter jumpers. Clinical.
That's a microcosm of why Michigan is one of the top defensive teams in the country, 3rd in scoring defense in the United States. Brazdeikis, catch and shoot. And Gabe Kalsher, who only took 2 shots in the first half, clears the rebound.
Coming off a game where he had 20, knocked down 6 threes against the Hoosiers. And really over the last 3 games, 73% from 3. So you'd like for him to at least, you can't make shots you don't take. And he's got to be a guy for them that's a perimeter threat.
Minnesota has all of its made field goals inside the paint, where McBrayer is to leave it short. And a travel against Simpson.
Well, Minnesota, that drive that's a good drive by Dupree McBrayer. You know, you get a post touch, you get a kick back out, you drive a closeout, but almost like a power outage when he gets to the basket. Xavier Simpson, they're going to call him for steps.
Looked like a little bit of a show and go.
A little liberal, but I'm surprised they called that, to be honest with you.
Oturu goes baseline, and Teskey eats it alive. Murphy with a shoulder into Brazdeikis, and this will stay with Minnesota. But the locals here at the barn are unhappy.
The Michigan's bigs are locking down the paint. John Teskey says, get that out of here. Now Jordan Murphy going to try. Iggy Brazdeikis fortunate there. His arm is all down, but he gets all basketball. Possession retained by Minnesota, but man, that defense is really clogged in, and these guards are really helping in on these Minnesota bigs.
Well, Brazdeikis thought Coffey had possession in the front court, then went into the back court. It's a 2 for Coffey. You'd have to be completely full body in the front court with possession to create over and back.
We'll see. Can that get Amir Coffey's game jump-started here? Now 1 of 11, but all it takes for good players, you see that thing go through the rim, and maybe his confidence will explode here at the barn.
Brazdeikis is fouled and he scores.
We talked, Jason, about Jordan Murphy having to flip this matchup. Well, right back at you here. Iggy Brazdeikis driving the closeout, going right at Jordan Murphy. Just a physical driver, embracing the physicality of the game. It's exactly what the freshman does there. Now is an opportunity for a three-point play.
When big guys go at one another, the tendency is to watch the hands and the ball. But if you watch those two lower body, that is a battle right now.
No, it is. I mean, two really strong kids going at it in the low post and from the perimeter there for Iggy Brazdeikis. You see, there's the hands kind of getting caught in the cookie jar initially, and then the bump down low is where the officials get him.
Third foul against Jordan Murphy, the double-double dispenser for Minnesota. He's already got the rebounds tonight.
Daniel Turner should shoot this ball. But it's got to be a confident deal. You know, you catch it, you think about it, all of a sudden you're out of rhythm. But if they're not going to guard you at 15 feet, he could make that shot. Saw him make his first three-pointer against Indiana. Now, I'm not sure he needs to go out there and shoot, but from the free throw line, absolutely let that thing fly.
Richard Pitino said he's been lobbying him for more opportunities to shoot, and Brazdeikis with his hands in the air before he brought him together to knock down another three.
Well, that is such a tough guard. You got John Teskey rolling to the rim. You got Iggy Brazdeikis replacing behind. You got guys that can make shots. Pick and roll can be a nightmare to guard, especially with a floor general like Xavier Simpson.
Poole to the rack.
Right now, everything going right for the Wolverines. Honestly, a little surprised Jordan Poole didn't let that fly, but no need to when you get right to the basket. Nobody coming over to help.
Boy, that is a high level of difficulty for Kauscher's first 2 points.
Look at the way Michigan is pushing tempo. They are getting this thing out of the basket, even on made field goals, and they are going. Xavier Simpson assessing that possession right there, deciding to pull it back out, run your offense.
Brazdeikis flew by Murphy.
One of the hardest things, Jason, in all basketball to do is guard off of closeouts. And Iggy Brazdeikis is understanding that right now, and he is taking it right to Jordan Murphy. That's a tough matchup on this end of the floor for Murphy.
He says, Brazdeikis does, that he loves being the villain on the road, and you can see it in his demeanor. For a Michigan team that has 3 losses, all of which have come away from Ann Arbor. See if Michigan can make it 5 straight made shots. Poole's feet are dizzying to watch.
His footwork is really good. It is next level good, in fact. We hype him up and he misses the shot.
He thinks every shot's going in, by the way.
He absolutely does, and that's what makes him so good. He's obviously a talented dude, but he does not lack in self-confidence.
Teskey on the mark for 3, and a timeout, Minnesota.
Well, Michigan's offense is flowing right now. Jordan Murphy trying to defend Iggy Brazdeikis. Here's the screen and roll. got to be in for Teskey. Now you try to guard on a closeout. Super hard to do. Iggy Brazdeikis, he is loving life right now on the road.
We're going to take a look at tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch, but for Iggy Brazdeikis, the motto is suns out, guns out, because evidently he flexes like that a lot because we have a file photo.
It's a lifestyle. That's all you can say. All you can say, Iggy Brazdeikis, it's a lifestyle, flexing on everybody.
See the tattoo on his arm to remind him of things that can seep in that would be negative to stay on course. And boy, he's a great villain.
He is.
Isn't he?
And he's a great player. He's got serious game on a team that has such a swagger to him. And part of that's Jordan Poole, part of that's Xavier Simpson. Iggy's a big part of that too. This Michigan team is just fun to watch.
23-3 overall. Losses on the road at Wisconsin, Iowa, and Penn State. Game that John Beilein was thrown out in a couple of weeks ago. Nowhere to go. Coffey with 6 to shoot. Murphy against Brazdeikis, trading paint into the lane, and a whistle will send Murphy to the free throw line. We got another timeout for you. Michigan by 18. Maybe Robbie will flex after this. It's the instructional video sweeping the Big Ten. Bad basketball starring Robbie Hummel.
Hello, friends. Welcome into Jason Benetti's Bad Basketball Volume 4, Exorcism Edition. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but on a late February night here at this arena, the barn, a man that matches my description, 6'8", 220 pounds, blonde, tore his ACL right there in that lane. Well, now it's time to exorcise the demons. Here we go.
2010 still feels like yesterday, doesn't it?
I'm sure my basketball agent is just salivating seeing that footage, being like, we got to get this guy back on the contract. Our trainer, Ryan Thompson, was just texting me. I'm sure he's really impressed, too. Really good job by Ryan there. I can still dunk.
Great job.
Great job, Ryan.
People don't know. I mean, how hard is it to come back from 2 ACL tears? What was that like?
If you love to play basketball, it's not that hard. If you really enjoy doing it, and honestly, when you get to play in venues like this, the barn, you know, the Kohl Center, Breslin, Assembly Hall, I don't care. You play basketball in the Big Ten, there's a very unique feeling that you get from running out that tunnel. And the atmospheres in this league are so big time. I knew, regardless of how many times I got hurt, I was at least going to try. I love to play basketball too much. But we have a special thing here in the Big Ten. There is no doubt about that. It's unlike any other league in the country.
What are the benefits like in the contract with Jason Benetti's Bad Basketball? Is it pay good or
no insurance? I do these videos for free. You film them and make fun of me. It's really a great time.
Oturu makes it a 15-point game. The reaction on Twitter, by the way, from Purdue fans, I think they were sadder on that day than you were because you guys felt like you had a Final Four team.
No, we did. I mean, we were 22-3 up here, and we had a group with E'Twaun Moore, Juwan Johnson. We see Jordan Poole stay on fire.
What a great find that was into the corner.
That was a big-time pass, but no, it was disappointing. It was a disappointing deal for not just me, but everybody at Purdue.
We're glad to have you as part of our team at Bad Basketball.
Thank you.
And here at ESPN.
I need a raise.
From 0. Oturu ends up on his backside. He's been busy tonight with 12 of the 25 for Minnesota. Matthews saw an opening, and he will go to the free throw line. Rivalry week rolls on Saturday. 2 more great matchups on ESPN. 6 Eastern, number 1 Duke against Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. Then number 12 Kansas and number 14 Texas Tech in Lubbock. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. If you missed the news earlier, Jim Boeheim hit and killed a man with his car late Wednesday night. 51-year-old Jorge Jimenez of Syracuse. And here is the quote from Jim Boeheim. He is heartbroken as a result of the accident that a member of the community died. Julie and I extend our deepest sympathies to the Jimenez family. Out of respect for those involved, I will not be providing further comment at this time. Reports are that Jim Boeheim has cooperated fully with authorities after the accident and just an awful situation in central New York. Lead is 20 here for Michigan. Coffee, the miss. He has not looked comfortable tonight.
No, he has not. Michigan showing so much attention to that post. They're allowing Amir Coffey to get great looks. And again, the struggles just continue. Now 1 of 12 from the field and 0 of 4 from 3.
Simpson measuring Curry. And Coffey the rebound. See if he can get an easy look off transition here. Livers stayed right with him.
He stays with that play, but you're right. The Michigan transition defense has been really good, and they are showing bodies in that paint. There are just no driving lanes right now whatsoever for Minnesota, but credit Amir Coffey for making something there with his size out of nothing.
That's more his game than lingering at the arc.
Absolutely. He needs to be in attack mode, get to his floater, get to his pull-up, get to the basket, but when you just cannot make outside shots, there's not going to be any space for you to operate.
That was a 2 for Matthews. Foot on the line for Charles Matthews, who you talked about at the outset tonight, has been the driver for this offense to compel them to their last couple of wins. He's only got 6, but they haven't needed him.
Well, coming into tonight's game, he has made 23 of his last 36 two-point field goals. I mean, he has been so good from the mid-range. Like you said, they haven't needed him tonight. The other guys have really stepped up to the plate and played well. Jordan Poole, John Teske, Iggy Brosdakis, to name just a few. But when this Michigan team is clicking on all cylinders, you have to believe that they have a great chance to make some serious noise. It can even be a Final Four team.
Michigan just gave up its first field goal outside of the paint this evening, as Livers now has 11 straight games for himself with at least 1 3. And that gives him license to play with his mouth guard.
It's a fun thing when you're a shooter and you play with a guy like Xavier Simpson. He just finds you. And right there again, Isaiah Livers does a nice job slipping that ball screen, but it's on time, it's on target. He's one of the elite floor generals in the country.
Murphy nestles it in. It's going to be really tough to pick the 4th and 5th guys for that first team All Big Ten.
Especially if Michigan wins the league. I just think you cannot have a league champ that doesn't have somebody on that first team. And how do you pick one from the squad? Xavier Simpson is the best on-ball defender in the conference. He's arguably the best point guard in the conference. Jordan Poole is an extremely talented guy. Iggy's had a great year. Teske has really improved. Good luck picking that. I don't envy them.
Lead is 19. We are just so happy you got closure here tonight.
It's an athlete's game. What can I say?
Ups, man. Cotter, you didn't give Dallin or Farnham a chance to jump in and make fun of Robbie's dunking ability. I'm disappointed, but
I'd like to see if either of those guys can still throw it down. Farnham, what do you think?
oh, just wait for the next studio update.
Can't wait.
You are asking for it.
Can't wait to see if Sean Farnham still has it, or Dallin.
For Richard Pitino, this is an interesting moment for Minnesota because Joe Lunardi has them in the field right now as an 11 seed. The last 4 byes. They're trailing big here. They're at Rutgers and at Northwestern for their next 2, and those are much more pitfalls than opportunities.
Well, going to Rutgers is a terrifying thought right now. They are a scary team to play. And honestly, life on the road anywhere, I don't care if it's a team in Northwestern that's not playing great basketball right now, you're still going up against a road venue where anything can happen.
Hey, that Washington win is a big one. That will help them with the way Mike Hopkins' team is playing out of the Pac-12. But then after those 2 you were talking about, you've got Purdue and at Maryland coming up. So that's where the opportunities start to bubble up.
Well, I think right now that's what this would feel like. This game is a missed opportunity if they can't come back in the next 10 minutes and 18 seconds. But what you want is to have them. Last year, Nebraska didn't have them. And because of that, they weren't able to get in the NCAA tournament. Well, this year you got a mixture of games that are kind of terrifying, looking at Rutgers and Northwestern, and then 2 games where if you do sneak one out and win those other 2, you'd have to feel pretty good about your chances going into Selection Sunday.
The concern, as always, for Richard Pitino is can we shoot ourselves there? And also, how deep can I go on my bench?
Right, and the bench has been an issue. Isaiah Washington has dealt with a tailbone injury that held him out of the Indiana game. We saw him tonight. He kind of struggled. But outside of this starting five plus Eric Curry, as again, Jordan Poole is playing with so much swagger right now. It's a tough deal because you don't have that depth coming off the bench.
See, in Minnesota, they're used to seeing Fernando Rodney with the arrow, the bow and arrow, when he closes out a game. It's not supposed to happen against them in basketball, though. As Poole on that play, by the way, did you see him run to the spot?
No,
up
he does.
17.
It's what shooters do. I mean, it does not matter the score. Shooters want to shoot, and if he's going to be able to get any up, Jordan Poole's a guy that he wants to score as many points as he can, as all scorers do. Not going to slow down because of the score.
Matthews with 6 into Kalsher.
That was really well defended by Gabe Kalsher, who's honestly a great two-way player. Hasn't had a great game tonight, but he can really guard.
Murphy takes Livers to the rim, and Jordan Murphy once again reaches double-double territory. He got the rebounds early.
Well, again, it's normal. You know, we've become so accustomed to it, and again, he hasn't played his best game here tonight either. I don't think anybody on Minnesota has done that, but again, an off night, just get a double-double. It is what it is.
What you were saying before the game, it felt like a triumph when you got a double-double in the Big Ten.
You'd sit in your locker, you'd be exhausted, you'd think, man, I played like a beast tonight. I went and got 10 rebounds. That's him 63 times over.
Kalsher got it for 3.
Well, the skip pass there, Brock Stoll understanding Gabe Kalsher wide open, and now you get some game pressure. The crowd gets into it. Can Minnesota string some stops together?
First 3 for the Gophers. Knock away McBrayer. He's on it for the stuff. $7-0 and $1.15 for the Gophers.
Well, just when we thought Minnesota didn't have anything left in the tank, Dupree McBrayer shooting through the passing lane, energizing this crowd, getting the Gophers going.
Time to look at our assist of the game. It's brought to you by State Farm, and it's Michigan's side.
Well, with John Teskey's size right here, going to see right over the top of Amir Coffey, and that's the definition of a great pass. Right to the shooting pocket, a bullet to Jordan Poole. Good luck trying to recover to that pass. And Poole tonight has been outstanding. 19 points, 7 of 14 from the field. Has knocked down 5 triples for the Wolverines.
Think about the confidence that hitting a game winner in the NCAA tournament as a freshman can give you. That's what Jordan Poole did against Houston last year, the SB nominee, and he doesn't lack confidence, that's for sure.
I mean, it's awesome. I'm jealous that he got the opportunity to do that. It's every kid's dream, making a big-time shot in the NCAA tournament.
You were talking about Xavier Simpson and how he creates offense like he did there.
Well, he's just so elite at it. You look at these names, Marcus Howard, Tremont Waters, Xavier Johnson, and Alex Robinson, the only 4 high major guards in college basketball that create more for their team off pick and roll. He just sees the basketball, sees the floor so well. He knows where Teskey is. He knows where the guys are coming on the backside. He has a great feel.
Did you say elite, by the way? You should play for PJ Fleck.
He could.
You say to him, how you doing? And he says elite.
I'm having an elite day.
Yeah, you should play tight end for him. Lead is 13 for Michigan. Hesitation. Hook shot, no. And a foul against Michigan. And Teskey down low. After Oregon USC, which Dave Pasch and Bill Walton will preside over as only they can, Zubin and Michael Eaves will have Tim Legler on SportsCenter to break down Celtics, Bucks, and Giannis, your former competitor in the NBA. We'll go one-on-one with him as well. Plus, what makes Gonzaga a title threat other than beating Duke in Maui and running the West Coast Conference one more time at Sports Center later on tonight after Oregon USC. Murphy got bumped, and he draws 2 free throws in a game that's still lingering for Minnesota.
They are hanging around, and you have to think if they can get some contributions from guys like Gabe Kalsher, who's come alive, made a 3 here in the second half. Also Amir Coffey. You want to pound it inside, but the attention being paid to Jordan Murphy, Daniel Oturu is just so much right now because you haven't been able to spread that floor by making jumpers.
Minnesota gets to the line a lot. The problem is the Gophers do not make a lot of their free throws.
And the problem is Michigan's a team that does not foul a lot. So while you're right, when they've gotten there, just like right here, Jordan Murphy goes 1 for 2. Michigan, not a team that's, I guess, been a team that fouls hardly at all on the season.
Well, token pressure from Minnesota up the court for Michigan, which is a half game out of first place in the Big Ten, and a Michigan State team they'll play twice.
And John Beilein really just hands the keys to Xavier Simpson and allows him to make plays. And when you got a big-time guard like this, he's going to find you.
Brosdakis had it knocked away. McBrayer joins to make it 3-on-3, and Coffey gets swatted down. It's 5-on-4 Michigan.
I thought Amir Coffey went to draw a foul there. He did not go to score that basketball. It's a great drive, but the basketball gods get you. You miss a layup. Transition now comes. More often than not, that defensive team's going to drill a 3, and that's what happened right there.
Matthews does it, and what could have been a 10-point deficit is now 15. Double comes from Simpson. Murphy spins away from it and scores plus a whistle.
That is a weight room bucket on the freshman Brosdakis. Going to his left to get back to his right, goes right through those arms. Think of the strength of Jordan Murphy. Even get this thing to the rim. So impressive. And then the English to get it to go.
Do you want Simpson to come and re-show the double there?
Honestly, I would. If he's guarding Amir Coffey, if he's guarding Dupree McBrayer, I would be digging. I would be post-trapping. I just don't see a reason not to. However, I guess at this point in the game, you don't want to give up 3s. So maybe that's John Beilein's thought. We're going to let him go to work on 2s because we feel like Iggy Brosdakis has done a pretty good job tonight at guarding Jordan Murphy.
Matthews. Oh, just made the last one. That was way too strong. Oturu flushes it home off the find from Coffey. Bench says, come on, keep it going. Simpson swatting at McBrayer. Teske lines it up for 3.
I just think if you're Amir Coffey, and this is a game plan thing, but you got to at least stun at John Teske. You're guarding Charles Matthews, by statistically is not a great 3-point shooter. Not saying you leave him, but give John Teske something to think about with a stun.
Instead, a lot of daylight for a guy who's growing in his self-assuredness from 3.
Again, another guy that over the last 3 hasn't shot it great, but more than capable. And again, like you said, Jason, you give him that kind of time, he just lines that thing up, squares that shot up, knocks it down.
Teske, one more!
Well, do you think Xavier Simpson and John Teske have a connection here? I mean, he is so in tune with what Teske's doing, and nobody coming to Teske. Have to stunt, have to rotate, have to do something.
The development of John Teske has been a sight to behold over the last year for Michigan basketball. They wanted him to shoot more 3s, and it's been a bonanza tonight at Williams Arena.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new Made to Crave menu, available at participating restaurants now.
Bill would say, save it for the air, Chris. Watch college basketball, international soccer, and the UFC. Download the ESPN app and sign up now. Bill Walton, I think, since Maui, has figured out who you are, Robbie.
I don't know who he is. I don't get mad. I just get even, Jason.
If you missed it, Bill, during our Maui Invitational, I said Robbie Hummel. He said, who is that?
It's fine. I don't know who he is, even though he's a Hall of Famer.
It is not fine. I could tell by your tone. John Teske has been awesome this year for Michigan.
I mean, you could make a case that he's not just the most improved player in this conference, but nationally. I think Bruno Fernando could argue that. He's made huge strides as a player this season for Maryland, but man, Teske, the question was, who can come in and fill the shoes of Mo Wagner? And that question's been answered.
He got 2 starts with Wagner injured last year, John Teske. He was born in Indianapolis, raised in Ohio.
No wonder he shoots so good. Born in Indianapolis, didn't know that.
Yeah, it took a little doing, though, to get him there, by the way. It wasn't inherent.
Now, most Indiana-born people are pretty good shooters.
Jordan Poole is like a figure skater out there.
He just has serious swag and offensive ability. He's got it going. He is scary to guard.
The figure skater is about the footwork. The swag maybe something else, as there's 2 and a foul. We mentioned Dave Pasch and Bill Walton are coming up. Here's what they have in store. Bill is evidently trying to blend in. Let's play Where's Walton, because he's a UCLA Bruin on USC's campus. So Bill blending in. I love my bike. Where's Walton, everyone's favorite game. See if they have cupcakes again. If you didn't see, Bill ate a cupcake with a
lit candle.
Always fun. Good luck, Dave. We wish you the best. Michigan with a win will tie Michigan State at the top of the Big Ten standings. No change of possession. Poole has to heave, and he missed the rim, so it's a shot clock violation with under 2 to go. Minnesota from here will go to 7-9 in the Big Ten if this score holds. Joe Lunardi has them as an 11 seed in the NCAA tournament. One of the final 8 teams in, and on the road for the next 2.
And you have to think, you hate to say this, but you have to win the next 2. You got to win at Rutgers. You got to win at Northwestern. You want to play in the NCAA tournament. I just think those are 2 critical games for Richard Pitino's team.
Xavier Simpson either doesn't think he fouled McBrayer or can't believe he fouled McBrayer.
I think it's the first. I think he doesn't believe he fouled him.
Well, he's arguing his case. Let's look.
The problem's going to be he doesn't give him anywhere to land.
He got him in the elbow, too, I think, right?
That's a definite foul.
Watch the elbow.
So he might hit him on the elbow, and there's nowhere for Dupree McBrayer to land there. That's an automatic foul. They get one more free throw here. So
yeah, the rule is when there are 3 shots, you can't get the rebound on the second one. Xavier Simpson, like, what are the rules right now? I don't know. Minnesota's 6 of 14 from the line, by the way.
I'm surprised they didn't foul there. Charles Matthews has that basketball in the corner.
Just a 63% foul shooter, Matthews. Yeah, McBrair's trying to give the foul. He does on Simpson. And they're going to really.
He's been a guy that's made free throws in Big Ten play. Shoots 76% from the line. And they had one to give, so it doesn't matter, but.
There's the next one. And the 1-and-1s will start to flow. You might as well force him into the 1-and-1s.
Yeah, why not? Especially with a team with the track record that Michigan has had over the last year. This has kind of been their deal. But like we said, Xavier Simpson, a guy who's made huge strides here in conference play, knocking down free ones.
One of 3 remaining road games for Michigan. Final 2 of the year before the Big Ten tournament are on the road. and 2 left with Michigan State. Thanks to the schedule makers for giving this gift to us.
That's going to be a battle on Sunday. That is going to be an awesome environment in Ann Arbor.
Two for 2 for Simpson. Third toughest schedule remaining according to BPI for Michigan. But if you get through these 5 games even at 4-1, you're going to keep the 2 seed, you'd imagine, and at least threaten if somebody goes cold on the top line. That huge win against North Carolina, they blew North Carolina out.
Blitzed them. I mean, Iggy Brosdakis was balling. They were awesome on that day. Same with Villanova. They crushed Purdue. I mean, they have had performances where they've been really good. Now, I don't know what they're doing here. You just cannot do that if you're Isaiah Livers. Who cares if he shoots it? You just got to get out of here. You're putting him at the line. A guy that hasn't been able to make anything outside the paint tonight.
First one good. That is un-Michigan-like.
Yes, undisciplined. And it's just a mental error and a mental breakdown. It's just been a struggle. I mean, the free throws have been a struggle. Minnesota 2 of 17 on shots outside the paint. Nothing has come easy offensively tonight.
2 for 3 for the line for Coffey. Pressure has done a number on Michigan as there's a timeout. Just 1 remaining for the Wolverines after that one gets buried. If you're John Beilein, you are rather displeased with the closeout skill of your team tonight.
I just think they thought the game was over. And Minnesota's not ready to do that. And they have continued to play hard. They're pressuring on this inbounds pass. And then the mental breakdowns we saw from Michigan fouling a 3-point shooter just can't happen.
Right now, Michigan is a 2 seed, according to Joe Lunardi and his bracketology. Michigan State as well. Purdue a 3 seed. Wisconsin a 4. So a deep league for the Big Ten. Minnesota trying to hang in that bracket. Indiana has fallen out, having lost every game except for at Michigan State since January 3rd.
Maryland and Iowa at 6 and 7. Those could be some scary second-round opponents.
How do you deal with Bruno Fernando? I mean, he is a beast right now.
And just playing, he plays so hard. And he's really, he went and he took his NBA feedback and he took it the right way. You see a lot of guys that they're told they need to be shooters, they need to do whatever, and it becomes a detriment to their game because they're not playing to their strengths. Well, they went and told him, you need to play more intelligently. You got to read double teams. You have to make post moves. It's not just about catching lobs and dunking. And now you see him. He's got a right hook. He's got a left hook. He's reading double teams. He's getting his teammates involved. He has been really good for Mark Turgeon.
Michigan is at Maryland March the 3rd, the final week of the regular season. As you give a 1-and-1 to Jordan Poole with only a couple of those, and Poole's an 82% shooter. He knew he missed it.
Going in, right?
McBrayer can't score. Murphy clears the rebound and does put it in. It's a 10-point game and a timeout. Minnesota with 101.
Jordan Murphy with the rebound, the gather, the presence of mind to put it on the ground so he doesn't travel. And again, Michigan coming up empty at the free throw line. Minnesota pushing tempo, and they've cut the 10 now with 1:01.
18 points, 14 rebounds for Murphy. Richard Pitino having a discussion with our officiating crew and Paul Sells. How about Jordan Murphy? You get a double-double basically every game. He's had 11 points and 8 rebounds on the average every year of his career.
No, just incredible. And tonight got off to a rough start. 2 of his first 9 from the field, but since then he's made 6 straight field goals, and you could say he didn't play his best game, but he's got 18 points and 14 rebounds. There's so many guys that play Big Ten basketball that would kill to have 18 and 14 in a game. And this is like every night for him.
Once, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's on the bench now, defense to offense. He's got 3 fouls, Murphy does. There's one more 1-and-1 coming for Michigan. Foul from McBrayer to Poole, who again, yes, he missed the last one, but he's one of the best free throw shooters on this team.
The problem is for Minnesota now, if they miss free throws, it's one thing, but who's going to make a three right now when you need triples to get back in this game if Michigan's going to make these free throws? They're 1 of 9 today.
Poole alone. Missed it. Will it be Coffey? Amir Coffey can't hit, and Simpson cleared out Murphy, who reached in. Tenth foul against Minnesota. 2 shots coming the rest of the way for Michigan. Minnesota, you said it now, 1 for 10 from 3, 9 for 18 from the foul line.
Well, it's just so confounding to see Amir Coffey out here tonight. 6 points, 2 of 15, now 0 of 5 from 3. He's had nights in the Big Ten where he's looked like a first-team All-League guy. I mean, you see him against Nebraska, you see him at Wisconsin, where he puts together these just unbelievable scoring displays of talent. And you think to yourself, he might be a guy that could play in the NBA. But then he comes out here against a good team in Michigan, and it just has not gone his way tonight.
And that takeaway could seal the deal for Michigan. Hasn't looked like Amir Coffey's known where his shot should come from tonight. You agree?
Yeah, I do. I think he got a wide open 3 to start the game, didn't make it, and then just looked a little bit lost offensively. But he's too good of a player to go 2 of 15. He has too much ability, too much. I'm surprised to see him do that.
Matthews the miss, winding down at the barn. Stull, under 4 to go. The crowd erupts on a made jumper, but Minnesota is going to lose its 10th game of the year and fall to 7-9 in the Big Ten. Michigan and Michigan State, with 4 games to go, are tied at the top of the Big Ten standings with Purdue a half game back. It is going to be an awesome run to the finish line in the Big Ten. He's Robbie Hummel. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew. Michigan wins. Oregon, USC is next. Dave and Uncle Bill. But first into the studio, Chris Cotter and his band of renown.